Speaking of Canadians, my boy, Charles Jourdain is back in what has to be. Whether it's the next fight or this fight, I don't know. We'll call this the People's Prelim fight. And Charles Jourdain is fighting Lando Vannata, ladies and gentlemen. Now, think about the Lando Vannata we've seen over the last few years, especially during that pandemic time. I think that Bobby Green fight for me stands out in a big way. Just so creative on the feet. He's got good movement. The losses we've seen from him are kind of interesting, right? It's guys who have been able to very much read him as a striker. You know, I can remember very well when you watch Bobby Green with his movement, you know, he was very much able to gauge just where Vannata was going to land, where he was going to throw his strikes, and he was able to just get in a better position. And then we talk about the Mike Grundy fight. I think that was a great example of where he was able to avoid a grappling heavy, English fighter who has that background with some striking. But, you know, it was a split decision. I think Grundy is an absolute grinder. I actually really enjoy watching him fight. And the reason why is I love guys who keep themselves in a fight. If you're a guy that's going into a fight as the grappler only, and you can put up a great split decision loss, but it's still a split decision to Lando Vannata, it's pretty amazing to me. And I think that's what makes exciting fights is guys who just keep themselves in it. And they have the drive to do so. So in this case, you know, you got Vannata, great spinning kicks, great combos, just an absolutely phenomenal kickboxer and striker. And, you know, you look at the way he's been able to roll and avoid the ground for the most part in his career. That's the part that I love. And you even think about the fact that his last finish was actually a Kimura. So, you know, he's not too shabby on the ground either. So that's where I'm curious to see where this fight goes because I'll be honest, in terms of an unbiased pick'em, I don't think I've got one. So I'm probably just going to lead Charles Jourdain and hope for the best because he's my guy. And, you know, you talk about Charles and the way we've seen him fight, man. Talk about two guys who just know how to create an exciting fight. You know, I think it takes Charles a bit of time to get his feet wet. He takes far more damage than I wish he would. I just want to see him last a lot longer in this career, and it's going to be fun to watch him grow in the UFC. But, you know, with excitement comes a price. And I think, you know, with him, my biggest... the one surprise I've always had with him was... I'm trying to remember that initial fight with... it wasn't Marcelo Arroyo... Josh Culibao, that draw split decision, I really thought he had won that fight. I thought that was, first of all, a great fight for Josh that we saw him, you know, come back and do very well in. But I really thought that Charles had done enough in 2 rounds to get that victory. But unfortunately, you know, not 2 of 3 judges did not agree with us. And then after that, though, the 2-1 UFC record, Marcelo Arroyo, 3rd round finish. How beautiful was that? Julian Erosa lost, but gets tied up in the 3rd round with a Darce choke. And then Andre Ewell. So I'm just loving the trajectory of where he's going. And the fact that he's already fought guys like Doo Ho Choi, Andre Feely, Josh Culibao, Marcelo Arroyo, Julian Erosa, Andre Ewell. Like, that's his UFC career so far. So he's doing everything right. He's getting all the right fights. Not one of these guys getting thrown to the wolves to, you know, figure out how to get out of there. But now we get another exciting, you know, dancing partner for him. And that's the part that's going to be very meticulous, right? How do you gauge the striking of a Vannata versus a Charles Jourdain? And for me, you know, I look at the two guys and how much damage they take. For one, they both get hit a lot, but the durability, the ability to push forward in the 3rd round. I would love to just see if this fight ends in the 3rd round in general. Both guys seem to have the ability to kind of make something happen. Vannata's finishing ability, though, is the one thing that is kind of concerning. I think he could eke out a good decision here, but it takes a lot to finish Charles Jourdain, and I think we've seen that in the past. It's got to be probably on the ground if you can get it there, but he's just so game on the feet, and the fact that he can carry power and combinations and cardio into the 3rd round is what makes Charles dangerous for 3 rounds. And you have to admit, if you go look at his tape, this dude just gets better with time in a fight. You know, the 1st round, he just might not be a great 1st round fighter as he gets his feet wet and you see him take shots. Like, he takes some shots and then slowly but surely he just like, oh shit, I'm in a fight. And he just kind of wakes up and he really gets his feet going then. So in this fight, it's almost like paths to victory for both guys. For Charles, it's just pick your shots and don't take too much damage early on. It seems to set you back, not only in the points, but also just to try and get your own momentum going. And he does that very well. And so I would love just to see him do that early on in the fight. And then for Vannata, it's just, don't make it so close. You know, if you find areas where you're finding a lot of success, go for it. If you think that taking Charles down and just avoiding this, exciting fight for the fans, do it. Go for the win. I have no issues with that. I said in my ball breakdown, and it's the same thing here. I think that if I'm Vannata and I have the ground game to boot, along with that striking, I just see no reason to stand there and strike. Test Charles Jourdain's ground game. Get him to the ground. Force him into more tiring positions. Don't just stand there and bang. Both these guys love to do it. One of these guys has to pick that surprise game plan that gets them into, better areas other than just swanging and banging. So for me, I am obviously going to be a little biased on this one because I find it so difficult to pick. So I'm going to lean Charles Jourdain even as a favorite. But I have this written down as a pick'em. And I think I'm going to pick Jourdain to win, but I really think this fight's basically a pick'em. So let's take a look here. Charles Jourdain. So there it is. Minus 145 favorite opener. Has not moved much. In fact, I think Lions can't decide what to do, and it's going up and down. And then you have Vannata at plus 125. If you got that line and you believe in Vannata, congratulations, because it doesn't look like we're going to see that again. Plus 115 is the highest I see right now, with it going as low as plus 105. So, ladies and gentlemen, this looks like a pick'em as well. So, we're ending off the prelims here with some really good striking battles between Tyson Pedro, Dwight Grant, Marc-Andre Barrio, and the Charles Jourdain fight. Like, that's just four straight of just straight. To be honest, the Cameron Nelson, Eric Lang fight is going to be insane, too. So, I think that's a great set of prelims for a card that people aren't just crazy excited for, but this set of prelims should definitely get you out of the seats. So I look forward to it, and I think you should too.